Hey everyone, a very good evening to you all. Thank you so much for joining us for this series of B School Showdowns, where it is our pleasure to show you some of the B schools across the various regions of the world. And if you want to know more about the regions, please know that we've done separate webinars on how is life in Canada, US, the Nordic countries, UK, Australia, and New Zealand, and so on. This today, we're going to look at specific top programs in that region. Here today we're looking at Canada, so that you can get an idea of like whether this program would be suitable for you or not. So with that, let's move ahead, and I'm just gonna have various short polls here, and I just hope you can all hear me. Great, awesome. So looks like it's a great day for uh, session on this. Trust me, Canadians are super friendly. I just had one of my friends speak about Canada and life in Canada, and he had actually done the program from Queen's Mid School of Business. Okay, so you all know Canada is like really friendly and one of the easiest places to get a PR if you're a skilled worker, and therefore you might be considering taking a PR in Canada or things like that. So for that reason, it is a very popular region with us. So after US, Canada used to be a lot, and we're going to be like telling you about that now. So when you look at it, you have to understand one thing. The Canada is a big country, but however, you have to understand like where you're going to be placed there. Today, many of the schools that you're seeing are pretty much very close by, to each other. And you have Rotman, Schulich, and of course Ivey. Rotman and Schulich enjoy, a very good location in terms of being in the Greater Toronto area. Okay, Ivy is a little far away, but it's still in the most populated state or province, rather. That's what we should call in Canada. Okay, so we're going to look at these and the schools that we have, right? Before we jump into the learning methodologies of the school and what they are talking about, the mottos and everything else, right? Rotman emphasizes a lot on experiential learning and the leadership aspect, okay, in their MBA program. Schulich again talks about experiential learning and of course integrating theory and practice, kind of a thing. So you can't go without experiential learning, right? So that's a big focus in many of the places. Ivy is one of the 4 schools in the world where the entire curriculum is entirely case based. So Ivy is completely case based. And you might be wondering what are the other 3. And I'm going to tell you the other 2, and then you can tell me what is the other one later, right? Harvard, Darden, Ivy are known for being case study based, like completely case study based approach. There's one more school, if you guys know it, tell me. Otherwise, I will like let you know when I talk about it in the upcoming B School Showdowns, right? But Ivy is one of the few schools which has an entirely case study approach to teaching. Okay, and you know that Harvard pioneered this. It doesn't mean that Wharton is not using cases or Schulich and Rotman are not using cases. But the difference is that they use only the case study approach at Ivy. Okay, so that is the difference. So you should be very comfortable with that approach if you really want to get in. But whereas Schulich and others would have other things. They'll also have lectures. They'll also have like seminars, workshops, and like what they call it as the leadership lab, right? And so on and so forth. Okay. So that's a clear distinction for you. There are alumni who are well known across all these programs. And that's not very uncommon, right? So you all know that many of the people go to business schools in order to get a better career, and they do. So when you look at like the basic structure and what these are, you will see that there's not much of a difference in terms of experience, all right? And then Schulich is the most flexible of the lot. People also like Ivy a lot because it's a 1-year program and then case study based approach. What's not to like, right? So that's the thing, but it's more expensive, obviously because you have to pay all the professors and you have top notch professors there. It has a lot of multiple rounds. Okay, so that is like something that is going to be there, right? So when you look at the admissions criteria and the minimum work experience that is required, uniformly they need at least 2 years. And then to your surprise, the average GMAT score is much lesser in Canada. Now you might say, oh, is it easier for me to get into Ivy with a 670? Do not forget that you are an Indian, and Indians are super smart and they're very good test takers. As a result, 670 alone may not be helpful for you as an Indian applicant. Okay, I didn't even say male or female, right? So it doesn't matter. So typically, the rule of thumb is that whatever is the average GMAT score, you definitely want to get about at least, 30 points more than that. If you want to show that you are better, right? So then you have a minimum TOEFL and minimum IELTS for all of them, and of course the fee is not very different, and it's going to be a kind of like similar across the programs. So what you have to understand is if you're looking at these schools, you better have the average or a little bit, they're very particular about it. They don't have too many ones coming. See, now this is where I would encourage you to download the handout. So there is a handout here, and I'm going to download it and I'll tell you like the magic that happens with the handout. And I'm going to do with the handout only today. Okay, if I'm in your position, what will I do? I'm going to go to the schools, just open the link in this, sorry, it just opens up in the same link, right? Oops. I'm just going to make it open in the another tab. Wait a minute. Come on, go back. All right, there it is. So you have this handout. If I'm in your position, what I'm going to do is obviously open all these programs so that you can have an idea of what's happening. So these is very handy for you, and that's the reason why we do these B school series, and all because you know like how it is and what it is, right? So when you look at it, it's a 2-year program, so it is kind of long as compared to the other ones. When you look at Ivy, right, you will see that there is a whole different proposition for them. And in fact, they always fight. Rotman, Schulich, and Ivy fight among themselves to claim the number one, number two, number three spots. It always changes depending on who's the person ranking. Yeah, so there are like some more differences that we will see. Okay, so I wanted to tell you that the B School Showdown handouts are a very good starting place for you, and we have collected all the information and then put them in one place so that it's very easy for you to do the research. Okay, of course you can go to the website yourself and then do it, but it's just like all of it is right here, which makes it easier. Okay, even though what is the Ivy is much higher, right? The number of people they take is lesser, so it is tougher to get into. And Rotman has a more international presence than others. Okay, and Rotman will have like more people coming as well in terms of recruiting companies because Rotman has been number one for quite a long time, right? So let's get back to our quick discussion that we are having about the different schools. 1 minute. All right. So moving along, the course structure is very similar to some of the other programs we have seen before. You have some duration of academic study and you have an internship. So with Rotman, because you have the 24 months, right? You have a 4-month paid internship that happens. So like in the US, it gives you like a good opportunity to explore a different career path if you want to. Okay. You have many majors, you have a core curriculum, and then you can choose specific elective courses, just like some of the other ones. The interesting thing is the Joe Reader Foundation. That is it, okay? So, so with this, let's move to Schulich. See, one thing about Schulich is, I don't know if you guys know, Schulich has a campus in India as well, wherein you can do 1 year in Canada, 1 year in India. And let's go back and see that they still have it. It was impacted during the COVID times, obviously. But let's see if they still have it. I've had people who successfully applied to all 3 schools and then been successful as well. And I had a person who actually got into Rotman and Ivey, but chose Rotman later for various reasons, for themselves. Rotman has an amazing culture. I have to tell you that. People are so warm and friendly, and the school itself, you'll know it when you see the website. Okay. Ivy again has a lot of emphasis on leadership, and just like Harvard does, has a lot of emphasis on the what do you call it, as having your core skills also taught through the case study approach. Okay. So that is something that you would want to take into account. And then they also have like a capstone module that you can do. The difference is it's only 1 year. Okay. Here you have flexibility in changing it for your thing. Here it is 2 years. Trust me that this is an important difference that you have to understand. So in terms of the GMAT, not too much of a difference, all right? But in terms of the class size, a huge difference. All right. So as compared to the US schools or even Indian schools, now you don't take so many people. So that makes a difference. All right. As I said, Rotman is much more diverse and international, and work experience and age don't differ that much. All right. So when you look at what are the requirements for it, pretty much same. I'll just point to the differences that are there. The differences are the video question, and there's one more time written question that you have, which I'm not sure if they're going to keep this year, but you do have that, right? And for Schulich, it's very straightforward. Again, they have two video part of it. All right, and then again here it is there. So you will notice that there is a similarity in the application when you're applying to these programs, but the essays are different. Okay, that's where it is. So essays, you won't find much of a difference, but I love the Rotman spike factor question. This is where I always keep telling, if you don't know or if you follow my work on LinkedIn, I always keep telling that you have to show your authentic self, or you have to do a lot of self-reflection if you're going for an MBA, and this is exactly why. See, when you talk about a spike factor, it's like a wow factor. It's like a factor that makes you stand out, that helps you differentiate yourself from somebody else. So that particular factor, knowing what it is and what you want to highlight, right? Knowing that even though it's like only 500 words, no, so that is something that is very exciting. And trust me that a lot of my clients do extremely well on these kind of questions. So again, so when you like do these, like what do you have? Like it depends on a contribution, career goals, leadership essay, right? Rodman has his time written essay and the video essays in order to test whether you are eligible to speak. Okay, and even Ivy is very particular about your video essays. Okay, especially for international candidates. And of course, you have an optional essay in order to talk about things. See, one more thing that would be helpful for you is that there are many accreditations that are there. You remember ISB has all these three it has. In the US, it's not required. US, you can be part of two things and it's okay, right? Or you can be part of this. So if you're worried about accreditation, you have to check this out. Okay. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, to be very honest, but ISB and other schools definitely have it, and it made like it shows that you have to maintain a certain level of standards, okay, in teaching as well as in recruitment, as well as in networking and other opportunities that you're providing to the B school, I mean, to the students, and that is the reason why these accreditations matter. But even Harvard does not have all of it, okay. So you have to understand that in the United States, the AACSB is more popular, and sometimes Equus is also popular, AMBA is also popular. So it's okay if you're part of one. You don't have to be part of all three. But then, of course, in India, though, you have like all three for ISP. Okay. Now, employment stats wise, very important for you to find out that Rotman is a finance school at the end of the day, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't do consulting, right? But Ivy is a consulting school through and through, and there's a reason for it, because of their approach. Their case study approach, will force you to think and problem solve, and that's the way. And consultants love the case study approach, because it shows that you are having a first principle thinking. that you need to develop. And that's why you see Ivy is really, really strong in consulting. And of course, the other things are happening. It is not going to go anywhere. Okay. Schulich again has like the highest in terms of the, finance focus that you have to understand. But, these schools are known to be in the finance, the Greater Toronto region, and therefore they're known to be like, this part. Okay. Salary wise, not too much of a difference between the different ones. And Schulich again depends on where you are. So why don't we just go and check? All right. So I want to show you the same program book part, right? Sorry, the handout part. And when you come to the this one, no, I'll tell you about the programs and courses that you're having. So, when you have MBA, right? Can you see the MBA in India? That's what I'm talking about. So you do have an MBA, the 2-year MBA or the flexible MBA that you can design for yourself in Schulich with a lot of flexibility in the electives, but you also have MBA in India. So this is something that you have to probably do a little bit more research if you're interested. Schulich is in Hyderabad across your ISBs. So if you're in Schulich, you can also probably go take classes in ISB. I have a lot of people who do that. Okay. And it is pretty like, great for you to think about it. So it is available. How does it work? 1 year in India, 1 year in the Canada, and you're going to get the best of both worlds. Okay. So please do check this out. What I have shown you here is mainly like majorly the program that is there in the, in Canada as well, right? Okay. Now coming here, so recruitment opportunities are definitely a lot in Rotman, one of the highest, followed by Ivey, and then of course your Schulich Business School. Now see, again, it's not the number of companies that come, it's also number of like, opportunities that you are able to take. Okay, all your top companies are there. Where else can they be? The other day I was very surprised when I went to the mall after a really long time. I don't typically go to malls. And when I went to the mall for a long, long time, right? I was very surprised at whether I was in US or in India because all the names of the brands that you saw in US are here. Your Birkenstock, your Aldo. I mean, I know Aldo was in India for a long time, but it was just like, and Columbia, a sportswear company, and so on. So the world is indeed global. So where else will these companies go and hire, right? They obviously recruit from all these top universities in Canada. Yeah. So another thing which I find very interesting, which you should all do, and it is definitely common among other countries as well, is this international exchange opportunity for at least one semester or 2 terms, etc., depending on the situation. They have a lot of those happening in at Rotman. So Rotman has a lot of international exchange program, global practicums, a special program called as a Doing Business Internationally program, global consulting project, etc. So this opportunity to study elsewhere or another country or experience another country is something that you should check for many of the other programs too. Okay, that will give you like a idea of like what is needed. Fine. So again, the other ones do have it. Student clubs. Rotman is definitely, given that there are many more students at Rotman, has more clubs. And the focus is also there. They give a lot of focus on these kind of clubs. Again, Schulich is not far behind. See, Schulich is part of the University of York. Wait, I'll just show you 1 second. So you have to understand that, see, like these particular programs that you're seeing, right, are also part of the university as a whole. So the university, for example, like Ross School of Business was part of the University of Michigan, obviously, right? University of Michigan was huge. They have like about 42,000 students every year. Similarly, Schulich belongs to the York University, right? So it has a lot of alumni and other volunteering, success stories, and other things and all that. So they are very well known in terms of like for whom they are part of, right? The university they're part of. So same is the case with Rotman. Rotman is University of Toronto. So the greater, and I love Rotman for its brilliant, arrangement of website. If you ask me one of the better websites, I will definitely point you to Rotman. Just look at it. Very clear cut your path to the MBA. And of course, there's one more, Tepper, one of my favorites again. Tepper has like your a whole MBA chart plan, etc., and all that. Okay, here you have everything you need. See, if you want to talk to the admissions team, that comes first. The brochure tells you everything that I was telling you as well. See, we get the info from the brochure, so we can't make it up, no? So we get it from the brochure. Definitely, the employment and salary report is something you want to check and make sure that your domain is there, right? And then, of course, all the other things. Meet your student ambassadors. Everything that you need is all available very neatly here. So that is why I love Rotman for its setup. One of the better web pages and website, definitely. And as I said, they are known for their international approach as well as like, having a lot more diversity in the class, which definitely adds value, right, to what you're doing. Okay, but as I said, Schulich is part of the University of York, right? Let's check. So they also have like a interdisciplinary approach. And when you look at future students, you can get like a lot more information for how to apply to a graduate program, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you should really like check it out and then see what's there. Okay, so and Ivey is kind of lesser known, the university per se, but it's not bad. Okay, definitely. All right, and every time they all fight for who wins the title. Schulich says I'm number one for this, and Ivy says I'm number one for value for money. Maybe, right? So it really depends on that. Now, if I'm in your position, what will I do? I am going to go and seek all these current students and other things and understand that, is Ivy keeping up the promise? But not only that, is this something that you want to do? Okay, case study approach is incredibly hard. So if you can't open your mouth and speak on a topic when asked to do so, you would really want to probably, get up to that habit of doing it and get more comfortable before you apply to a school like IB. Okay, so Schulich is again has a lot of school clubs, and why did I bring these clubs up is because it's also part of the overall university and how many things that you have, right? So many of these business clubs can also collaborate with the greater other clubs in the university, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to learn. So what are some of the highlights now? So if you're looking at a 2-year model, you want to be in 2 years and you want more time in order to explore a path through the internship, right? Rotman is a good option. It's a finance powerhouse. You do have the Rotman Catalyst Fund, which has like a lot of unique venture fund and all that, which is managed by the students. It's a very nice way for you to know how to manage $45 million value, right? And of course, you can also be part of many other forums like the jury project here. Now, why should you go to Ivy? If you like this case study approach, okay, everything is through cases, and of course, this happens in some of the other schools, but other schools do it through other ways too. Okay, there will be definitely lectures in other ways. Okay, it is a well-known university too. It's not old. Okay, sorry, it's not new, so it's old too. Like the other two universities, it's well known. Good news is it has like additional campuses. So if this is something that you see, additional campuses will always mean more like an executive program model, right? If this is something that you want to do, it's great. And see, because Ivy focuses more on leadership and a little bit older candidates and so on, right? Many of them immediately are able to like get that jump in their careers. Okay. And of course, you can't teach cases unless you produce the cases, right? So they are kind of like one of the biggest ones as well. Schulich, the best thing I will say is the customizability, the flexibility of the course. A lot of specializations are there, and a lot of exchange options are also available. Okay, and it is the first cross-border executive MBA program. Remember the Schulich 1 year in India and 1 year abroad, that program I'm talking about. And there's also like an accelerated MBA program that's available where you can complete the course much faster, right? 16 months as opposed to the entire 2 years. Okay, so which one should you take? It really depends on what you're looking for, like always. I'm going to show you some of the parameters that you can consider. So Rotman is like, really like focused, and it is also chill at the same time. No? It's like your cool cousin. And I like Rotman a lot. It's like it has a heart. It has a lot of heart. That's what I say. And they always look at, they don't take numbers. Okay, so I have people who have gone with 660, 670, etc. to Rotman, but then of course they also did have other things in their profile to help them shine. Okay, so yeah, that's like a good one. 3-year Canadian permit is available. The reason why is because it's a full 2-year course, right? So if you have a 2-year course, then you are eligible for the 3-year Canadian work visa after that. Schulich is the only one which has 2 intakes in this set of schools. And of course, the flexibility is amazing. And then it has a lot of partner programs that you want to try. Ivey goes from March to March. It is not available elsewhere, so it's kind of like a unique program. Its deadlines are different, okay, as a result of it. And then, of course, you also have the case study approach, which I talked about so many times. The only drawback is a 1-year program, therefore, you do not have a summer internship, okay? And definitely amazing for consulting jobs, has the highest placement for consulting jobs in Canada. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to ask you a few questions before I hear your questions here. So did you guys try to connect with the alumni from your schools that you wanted? Okay. All right. See, the best time is now to connect with the alumni. Connect with them with the, I showed you all the student ambassadors and everybody. This is the one. See, does the presence of a student club affect your selection of a B school? Okay, you might think, what are you talking about? I'm not going to join a club there. I'm going for the brand, right? No, but trust me that there have been people who said that, for example, there was one person who really wanted to work in one club and this club didn't exist. So she really confirmed that she was in a position to start it. And they did start it and they did extremely well in that. Okay, I'm talking about London Business School, which did not have like, I mean, they did have a technology focus before, but it wasn't as strong. And one of the friends, he completely transformed it and it is so much better. Yeah. So anyway, coming to the couple other last questions. Um, so among the three today, which school are you more likely to apply if you have to make a choice that you saw today? Nice. Okay. A lot of you have chosen Rotman and Ivy. Okay. Let us know if you found these kind of webinars useful. It is our aim to just give you more insight about these programs and to also help you to get kick-started on the research, right? So that you know what to expect. Okay. See, B-School selection at the end of the day is all about preference, and where do you want to go, what do you want to do, and things like that. Okay, awesome. So I have one question, I believe, and I'm sure that, right? See, how do we make a choice, right, between these two? That's a very good question. See, again, I'm going to just show very quickly the. Okay, thanks for the votes. All right. Anyway, so I would say that it really depends. I was trying to show the handout, but yeah, I hope that you can see the handout here, right? So in your chat, right? So you can just pick it up from there in the handout section. So I would say the starting point is in the handout, and then make a list of what did you like about the school and what did you not like. Okay, and once you do that, it becomes easy for you to also see what matters to you and then is there. And that's why we also have in the coming Focus of the Month session, we'll be talking extensively about shortlisting the schools. And also, I have to tell you that there's the AGAC applicant fair coming up on May 24th. I'm really, really excited about it, which will help you to get a lot more insight, and you can just see the very first time of this year, and of course more, right? You get all the schools on the same place, right? M7 schools, your top 25 schools, all of them in the same place. I think that's the power of AGAC. We are very excited to bring this to you. Yeah. So with that, thanks everybody for your patient listening. I hope that you got a glimpse about the wonderful schools in Canada, and then you will consider them when you are, working on your shortlist. Until I see you next time, take care and good luck.